We are back for yet another episode, another collaboration with Spoken Like a True Goddess and Real Relatable, which is very exciting again. And we figured that we have to come back and just talk about what we not gonna do, what we have done and what we not gonna do anymore. Because
Not happening no more.
no. We are past that mostly. I mean, don't get me wrong, I mess up here and there. I don't know if you do, but I certainly mess up here and there. But for the most part, we are going to be in a space where we are not making poor decisions in dating. We are staying in tune with ourselves, and that is how we are going to navigate our relationships, navigate the dating experience, and in an effort to make sure like other people don't do the same thing, hopefully, or they can at least feel community because they too have stalked the guy that they couldn't get to respond to them on Instagram, all of that. So that is why we're here today.
Yes, all the things, no holding back. We've all been there.
We have been there, as painful as it is, but that's okay. I think it's part of us too is like we're going to take some of our power back. We're going to be able to just like share and have community and probably some laughs and probably some cringes about the things that we have done. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of cringes.
Yeah. Probably too many, but that's part of our journey. And if we've done it one time or another time, it's because we didn't learn our lesson the first time. So I don't know about you, but when I initially started thinking about this episode and how we would navigate it, I'm like, how far back do we need to go? Like, who's our audience? Who needs to really know? Like we need to go back to maybe college? Do we need to go back before that? Like, how are we going to set the scene?
Let's start at college. At least we're adults then.
That is
Young
fair.
adults. So like that's when we had to start becoming accountable for our actions at that point. So everything before then, no, we're not counting that. Come on now.
I mean, college is also a stretch to say that we were accountable then, but go off. Like if you
it was the beginning. It was the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember, and it's funny because that's exactly where I was going to start. I'm like, okay, because I have just stories for sure of just recklessness. And I'm just not there anymore. And it's funny because when you hear like younger girls talking about things and stuff. And like sometimes I'm so removed. Like sometimes I'm like clutching my pearls, I'm just like, oh my God. But I'm like, girl, come on now. Like you've done all the things.
Yeah.
All the things. So but what would you say? Would you go back further than college?
I've made poor decisions longer than college. So like if I'm being honest, yes, I can go back before college. If I'm being maybe more tactful about it, I would stick to college and beyond.
But what's your earliest memory of a poor decision pertaining to a guy?
Do you remember?
Oh, you're saying names. Don't say none of my names. Like
no, I'm not saying.
Oh, no, last name. Yes, I do remember him, and I remember a lot of conversations about him, actually.
I will bleep his name out. I think it's also, like, generic enough where...
Yeah, if you wanted to know who you were talking about, like, they could find who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, we'll bleep that out. So, something that I remember... with him. So we met, gosh, it might have been, maybe it was like you and I were in our junior year and he might have been a senior. I think he was a year older than us. Mm-hmm. And I remember admiring him beforehand because he was like the kid that's on like the soccer team or like this guy that's on the soccer team and like he's really good and he's hot and he's like just talented and just whatever, Mm-hmm. And so the reason why, like, I don't even know how we like truly met, but whatever the case may be, it was something where I was like going to help him with his math homework. This is so high school.
Yeah. This was your in.
This is my in. And we just started dating from there.
Mhm.
And part of the not so great experience that, or like the things that I kind of overlooked or just dealt with was this is going to be a theme actually, which is also annoying, but it's with his ex. So like I remember he like drove to Toledo or something, like where
Mhm.
she was at school. And at this point, like I was in my senior year, he had graduated, but he had like drove with her to go and like get an abortion of all things.
I
And
remember this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember this. Oh
I
wow. Okay,
was
keep going.
I was like mad and sad and like confused and whatever. And I was like, how could he do this to me? Like, why wouldn't you tell me? And whose baby is it? But also like, why are you going if it's not yours? Like it was just
Yeah.
so confusing. And actually, it's a good name. It's a good thing that I'm going to bleep his name because I actually looked him up within like the last month out of curiosity,
Uh-huh.
and they got married. And I
Shut
believe
up.
had at least one, if not two kids.
He's married to the girl he took to get an abortion.
Yeah. I don't know if they're
Oh, in
still
high
married
school.
because looking at her social, well, hell, I guess just to be honest, because I was like, well, and
Yeah,
then,
you just go down that rabbit hole.
yeah. And all of a sudden I'm on her grandmother's page. I'm just kidding. I didn't go that far. I didn't go
How
that
did we
far.
get here?
I know, right? I'm like, did you know that she had cousins in Tennessee? Like, no, I'm just, I'm just kidding. I didn't go that far. But it was curious to see, like, okay, wow, they actually got married and they had at least, maybe it's one child, whatever it is. And just looking at her page, it looks like she's maybe now single though, but they were married at one point because her last name is also changed. Yeah. So that's
That
mine.
is
Your turn.
that's something. But you know what? I mean, this probably doesn't bring any comfort, but for me, like, okay, if it was a situation like that where the ex or whichever that situation, if it if something like that came from it, like they were married for all those years or had children together or something like that, like it wasn't just a fling. So, like, never mind. I don't know where I'm going with this, but what I
Are you
would
trying
say,
to make me
I don't
feel
think,
better? Like, I don't feel bad about it. At the time, I felt
uh-huh,
bad. Now it's just like, I mean, this was
it is
almost
what it
20 years
is.
ago. Yeah, like this was a
Yeah,
very long time ago. This is not like
yeah,
a something that I'm harboring. And I can like honestly say there's nothing that I'm harboring from any of the stories that I will like share today that relate to people of like my past.
right.
Yeah,
So,
so
but also, you're probably the villain in her story as well.
like who needs that?
You probably are though, if you think about it. Like she probably
Maybe.
remember that time, like you were dealing with that girl and I was going through an abortion and da da da. So you may be the villain in her. Like she may be on a podcast talking about you as well.
That one bitch from yeah.
The
Like, oh,
things
that's
that
so
guys get us
funny.
involved in, like they just create enemies for us.
Do you think they ever just like laid in bed at night in their marital bed and they're just like, do you remember when you dated that one girl,
We
Donna?
do. Like I strongly do believe that like that you have come up, like you're a part of their story as well.
I'm
I
honored.
think so. I don't know. I mean, it's nothing to feel good or bad about, but that's something. Not the girl from high school getting a abort, like they're married and have children,
Yeah.
or was married and had children.
Children, child, at least one. Yeah.
See, now when we get off, I'm about to go in and look.
I know. That is so
That
funny.
is so funny. Okay, so if we're starting at high school, oh girl, where to begin? It's like ever since I started liking men or whichever, like it has been a roller coaster. So like it has been a complete roller coaster. I would say one of my messy early stories. And again, this a theme and something that I have learned from, but it has been a theme like throughout my 20s and things like that. But okay, you remember like my boo in high school, right?
I was gonna ask if it was the brothers that I think you saw one brother and I saw one brother, or maybe they were cousins or something. Do you remember?
I don't. That's so us coded, but like, cause wait, they no, they were cousins. Oh yeah, so yes, it's in that
Yeah.
family or whichever. Okay, this is a good story actually. They were cousins or like BFFs or something. I don't know. Okay, so
Ew, but we
okay.
went to the same house that one night.
Yes, this that's like
It was like one of us was on the second floor and the other
yes, that's
was
yes. This is part
downstairs.
of this. So this was such a messy situation.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I was dating the guy. Like we dated and I really liked him a lot. Like he was one of my first boyfriends. Like he was probably maybe like my second boyfriend ever, right? So I really liked him and things like that. So, it's high school. So we probably dated for like 2 months, which is pretty long in high school
You're
years.
basically
Like,
married. Yes.
yeah. And we were like, I mean, holding hands in the halls. Like, we were like, everybody knew I was his girl. Like, we were together. So we break up. And you know how we broke up?
How?
He was cheating on me. Like he was being very deceitful. So how I found out was on MySpace. He had he had two MySpace. So on his MySpace that I'm familiar with, I was in his like top friends or whatever like your
The top
fave,
five or
the
something, or
top five,
yeah.
right? Like I'm number one because I'm his girl, like obviously. So one day somehow I see he has another MySpace with another girl as his top. And I'm just like very thrown off by this situation. And keep in mind, like, me and this guy, like, I would get into like real beefs over him because he was so messy. He had other like exes and things like that. But I was gang about my man. Like, like,
Gank. Wait, tell me his name. I'll cut it out. Just tell me his name.
okay, this what was his oh my god, what was his name? Um girl, oh
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so
Yes.
whatever, like very, but I was gang, like I was going to toe to toe with whoever wanted it behind my man. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So we break up, whichever. He was in like a friend group, right? And the following year, which I think at this point it was our senior year, me and your senior year, and
Mm.
he had just graduated. So like we weren't together and things like that, but we are still cool. So we had went to his house for like a party or something. And at the party, one of his close friends was there. Okay, cool. But at the party, he was also being very messy and like flirting with me, flirting with other girls. I'm like, listen, I don't have time for that. So I start flirting with his best friend, right? Like I
Fair is
already
game.
thought that he was very cute and all that other things. So it started off me being messy.
Hmm.
Like, okay, I was being messy. But me and him end up falling in love. Like and we like he was my high school sweetheart. He ended up being my high school sweetheart. Like we dated from 17 since I was 17 till I was like 21. So that's why I was saying like with your story like it I know probably in his story I'm a villain, but me and his friend's relationship was very like it was influential. Like it was an influential relationship in my life. So like
I
it's
I like how you're like, I hurt you, but I needed to do that because we wouldn't have found our path.
we
Like,
wouldn't have like
she kind of
truly like
that's not how that works.
so okay, but it was the biggest drama and because obviously his friend like chose to be with me and like it was such a big drama in their friendship And even in our relationship, me and like my high school sweetheart's relationship, like it was a theme. Like it was very rocky at the beginning because, it was like he was conflicted, like this is his best friend, but we're in love and we chose love. So, but but I will say that type of scenario of just kind of whatever that type of scenario that was also kind a theme I've learned from that. Like I could take a little bit more time. Like if I'm liking someone and maybe it's not moving at a pace that like I'm comfortable with, or maybe if the communication isn't there or something like that, I could slow down and get clarity before making big decisions that
Yeah.
like disrupt shit.
Yeah.
So that's my my lesson learned, that I a very hard lesson learned, right? It was very
Yeah.
cute when I was 17, but girl, at 27, I was like, oh whoa, this was not cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It is funny you mentioned that, and I do like how we're pointing out the themes that we've had because I've noticed that as a theme even with like my ex-husband and with like other partners and stuff like that until more recently, but there had been such a like theme of the ex to some degree, or like
Yeah.
they would come into the picture somehow, or there'd be something like tying them. And by tying, I don't mean like if you have kids with your ex or something, duh, like come on,
Hmm.
but there are like other things where there's like, no, like you should sever ties, like this
Yeah.
isn't necessarily something that, should continue on just because you
Mhm.
had a relationship with them, or you're like, what are you holding on to? Like sometimes it works that way where you are genuinely friends. That's one thing. But when it's like, a little bit of like that gray area, or they're holding on because there could be potential of something else, such as my high school sweetheart then
Mhm.
going, to do this whole thing with his ex and then breaking up and then eventually they get married, that's their
Yeah.
story. But and so that's what was like holding on though, is like they actually wanted to be together. So I was just like in the way. And like,
Yeah.
you know,
That's what. Yeah.
they're like, if you could just
So you think that was a thing? So has that happened again where
Yeah.
I know you said it was a theme as far as, maybe an ex was conversation, but has it ever happened to the extent where you got out of the situation, then they got back together?
Mm. Well, I mean, I didn't find out that my high school sweetheart got back together or married this woman until like literally like within the last month or so. And we're
Yeah.
talking about 15, 18 years ago. So
Mhm.
like I'm just now finding out that that happened. Well, actually probably not as long because we stayed together for maybe like a year into college.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, maybe like 16 years or so ago, but I'm just now finding out about that
Yeah.
because I went to go look for it. So I don't really know if
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Especially, I just think honestly, dealing with exes and things like that, because I have too, right? Like I've dealt with guys who kind of didn't have very clear situations with their ex, but that's like a hard no for me now. I just find
Mhm.
it silly, especially it's like we're very grown. Like
Mhm.
either you guys are going to be together or not be together.
Yeah.
I think I'm there. And like you said, now obviously when it comes with kids, but even with kids, like you need to have a very like strict co-parenting. Like it shouldn't
Mhm.
be any like games you have to play or for you to see your kids or like that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like you need to have a I'm at the point like where it comes to that because okay, we're adults, we're in our 30s, like people are gonna have children and failed relationships and things.
Right.
So that's not something I care about. Like I even prefer dating men with children because I feel they're a lot more mature.
Yes.
Um, but you need to have a very comfortable situation for me to come into. Like it
Mhm.
shouldn't, like settle that or don't. But like I can't do that at this point in my life.
Yeah. I'm not looking to get into anything messy either, so I get that, you know. Also because like my ex-husband and I have such a good co-parenting relationship, it actually might even give other people pause because we do have such a good co-parenting relationship.
Yeah.
Genuinely we're friends. Like if I need
Mhm.
something or if he needs something, we're always going to show up for each other. Like obviously for our son also, and I can rely on him. And I've always been able to rely on him for like if I
Yeah.
need something. Obviously I couldn't rely on him in our marriage, but like for other reasons,
As a
but
friend, like he's a top tier
yeah.
friend.
Yeah, no, legitimately, you know, he's a good man and he shows up and so like for me, I need someone who's also going to be able to accept that dynamic or be able to step in a way where maybe some of the things that I might lean on my ex-husband for, they are then doing that, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like I'm still going to go to my ex-husband for something's broken or something with my car, but he's a car guy. And if I
Mhm.
need help, I'm going to go to him for car stuff. So
Right.
somebody else just needs to be able to either be able to do the same or be comfortable with me asking my ex-husband because he knows what he's doing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even with that, see, okay, for your situation, do you think that you respect, like, have you been in a situation where another woman was in the picture and how did you navigate that? Like, did you have to pull back a little bit with what you depend on him for, or have you not been in that situation yet? Or,
There was one person that he saw for a bit. From what I know, I don't believe that there was any problem, but it also wasn't like there's more that I ask of my ex-husband than he asks of me to where there
hmm
maybe could be concern of sorts of how we're interacting. I don't
yeah.
know that there was a problem with like how we might message each other or whatever. I don't know, but to my knowledge, it was fine.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, because I think that's something that I have a hard time understanding because I don't have a very like clean co-parenting situation. So I can't even fathom like friendship or things like that. So I know when I am dealing with men, I'm a little on alert with how they interact.
Mhm.
And I will say a lot of men don't interact well with their like co-parenting situation for me. And
Mm.
again, I could be just not have a lot of knowledge in the situation or whichever, but that is something. And even like most of those situations they didn't get far enough for it to be like a conversation, but I just wasn't comfortable with it.
Yeah.
um I would say there was one guy that I dated. I really liked how him and his ex-wife co-parent. Like I thought it was very business professional. Like I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was very organized, very business professional. And but at the same time, his kids were a little older.
Yeah.
Like he even had like two teenagers.
Yeah.
So maybe that played a part too. But I was like, I would love to like be in this, trio or whichever. I'm like, because this is very organized.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And so that could play. He was a lot older than I was, and his children were older, so that could play a part too. But I think it just has to be a lot of boundaries. Like I wouldn't like even if my man was a car guy and like you as his co-parent call like while we're at dinner, talk about your car broke down, like I wouldn't feel okay with him coming to your rescue. But I don't know if
Yeah.
that's ridiculous or if that's just like a boundary that needs to be worked out.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see someone not feeling the best about like if you're my ex-husband's girlfriend or whatever and I call him like, "Hey, you know, I need help with something," or like if I'm in
Right
an
now,
emergency, I'm
yeah.
not calling him like that, you know? Like I can probably just call, well, that's not true. I might call him. It depends. I don't know.
Right.
It
Yeah.
really just depends, you know? But if it's something where like for example, at the end of December, my car battery went out and it was
Mhm.
being like super faulty. We already had plans to meet up for lunch because like we had family in town and whatever, and we were going to go to lunch. And so when that happened, I'm like, yeah, like we had to take my mom's car. And then I was like, my car battery went out. So we started talking about it and he helped me. You know, it
Mhm.
wasn't
Mhm.
like I just called him out of the blue. Something's going on. And I can't say that I would not exactly because
Right.
I don't know. It depends. Like, it depends. Like, I could probably call AAA, but I could also probably call my ex-husband if I really needed someone to show up like immediately, he would do
Yeah.
that. But I can't say like it would be my first thought is that I need to call him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes
Yeah, no,
sense.
that makes perfect sense. And like it's not you haven't been in that situation, so you don't
Yeah.
know. And I think like with anything, it's someone because co-parenting and bringing in new people like that's also a relationship,
Yeah.
like so it's just something you have to work through when it comes up. I don't
Yeah.
think it's something you could really plan that far in advance, but I think if both people like yeah, if you're used to a certain dynamic and then this new person comes in, it's like everyone has to have a little grace and kind of work it out,
Yeah. To navigate it for sure. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah. It's funny. So when you mention the like dating someone who like doesn't have a good relationship with their ex or like having it kind of be messy, like I'm certainly
Mhm.
not interested in that. On the flip side, I'm also interested in someone who could be like that bonus parent for my son. And so there's a lot of like what I'm looking for, which I didn't do a very good job of it like after my divorce and looking for people that genuinely would be like a good parental figure and have
Yeah.
like those qualities where I'm like, yes, I really enjoy dot 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 dot, and that they can help out when the
Hmm.
time is right, obviously with this kind of thing. And as I like reflect on some of the people that maybe I was interested in for whatever reason, and I'm like, there is no way that Gray would ever accept you, or like that my
Yeah.
ex-husband would accept you, or that
Hmm.
I should accept you, or like you would fit in well with our like this is a family union, frankly.
Right, right.
So
Hmm.
if they can't fit into that, or if I don't fit into their dynamic either, like I
Hmm.
don't want to be in that situation. And so the lens that I'm dating now is like, okay, how do I feel? What feels right for me, but also like what can I sort of glean for who they will be or who they might be as a potential bonus parent. And
Right.
then also, like, I want to have more kids. So, how are they going to be as an actual parent too? And then also thinking about, like, are they going to accept my son and additional kids, and
Yeah,
not just be like, well, that's your kid. Now we have kids. You know what I mean? Like, those
yeah,
are certain things that I'm looking out for.
yeah. No, for sure. And yeah, that's like a whole nother thing because it's you're not just dating for your needs and desires, you're dating for your child's and then and even in your situation for his dad and not, but it's like it has to be like a respectful situation
Of course.
or so it's a lot of moving parts and I
Hmm.
would say that's one thing I was pretty naive about when I start dating again. I think I've always dated with that mindset of like my son because, my situation was different, right? Like
Yeah.
I kind of date with like, okay, like we're gonna be a new family,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I've always dated with that in mind, but I was very, um, I was very positive going into it. Like I just knew without a shot at all. I'm like, oh, it didn't work with him. That's fine. Like I'll have a husband next year for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. It does take a lot on both ends. And I think also you're going into it with a lot more knowledge and wisdom that you were looking for a husband when you were like 25.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Like you've been there, so you're looking for different things. Not everything's going to work for you, and then on top of that, you have like, a child with you, so it's different. Because I, yeah, I've been my my son is 7, and I started dating again when he was like 3.
Hmm.
So it's like yeah. And I mean, I've been very intentionally dating, but nothing has gotten to that point.
Yeah.
So I would say I was very positive going into it, but now I'm just like, oh, like, is this going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, I'll just raise my son and worry about dating when he's 18, or like
Yeah.
how is this going to be? But I don't know. I think it's a little less nerve-wracking for me because I I think I'm at the point where I don't want more kids, so
Mm.
I don't feel as eager as I once did.
Yeah.
So it's like if I have to wait till my son is 18, it's like it wouldn't be the worst thing, I guess, because I don't want
Yeah.
kids.
It's
So
hard to determine like when or how and who you date like after divorce, and then also like when you have kids and you just have like, this little person.
mhm,
And like for me, I certainly dated too soon after my divorce.
mhm.
And I I I don't want to say I wish I took more time. I kind of needed to get my rocks knocked off, if I'm being honest. Like
You're like, listen.
I was ready. Like it had been too long. So I just kind of like I just had a good time.
Yeah.
And I was putting these expectations on people who just like simply were not ever going to be capable of providing what I needed or what I wanted.
Hmm.
And it was like such this frustrating cycle that I ended up finding myself with then someone who was like really like the worst relationship of my life, where it was it was great at first, and then came the like the tearing me down, and it was bad. Like this was,
Yeah.
I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that. Maybe about 5 years ago.
Hmm.
And in that, I'm like, what's happening? Like that was like this mental turmoil where I was like, and probably maybe similar to the one guy that you had mentioned, where you guys were like kind of having this back and forth or whatever, and it was really hard to get over. And it
Hmm.
just like truly like it consumed my thoughts for like months. And
Yeah.
I wish it wouldn't have. And it was just awful. But something that I should have maybe honed in more at the time to avoid any of that was like giving it more time. And
Hmm.
like part of the biggest thing that I've learned is that we just have to allow time to reveal the true answers to
Yeah.
questions that simply cannot be answered, is people
Hmm.
can just say all the things.
Yep.
And
And they can even do all the things for a short time, but like you
yeah,
said, true time will reveal their like true character.
yeah. And so that's certainly something that I've gotten better about, I'd say
Hmm.
the last couple of years. And like it can still be tough sometimes though, because I'm like, excited. I'm like, wow, like things are lining up, like that feels good. And for me, I know that like I'm showing up how I'm going to show up, and I'm going to keep showing up this way. And there might be times where like maybe I'm having a bad day, or I'm frustrated, or I'm sad, because like those are
Hmm.
still emotions that I will have.
Right.
However, like the good parts, like that's going to be there. But you're
Yeah.
also going to see different sides because I'm human and there are other sides. It doesn't mean that I stay in those sides?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so getting to let someone like show themselves in whatever amount of time, and there's no real like, you can't say it's like always 3 months or it's 6 months or whatever. Like you just have to see. Like you have to
Yeah.
see them go through some hard stuff too and figure out how they navigate that.
Hmm.
I think that the like one of the bigger pieces that I've taken away from dating is just getting to understand also how people handle conflict. So, not just like a conflict style, but like like how do you, I guess it is a conflict style. Like how do you interact with somebody if you feel like your back is against the wall, or
Mhm.
do you
Mhm.
push someone's back against the wall when, things get maybe tough or whatever? Or like how do you communicate? Cuz we can communicate all day. And
Right.
what I've learned recently too is like if we're communicating well, there's understanding, or maybe there's like small hiccups, but we navigate that, that feels really good to me. If it
Mhm.
gets to the point where there's maybe like a harder hiccup and someone's reaction to that is like condescending or incredibly negative or like tries to put me down, my wall will go up.
Yeah.
And what I need to do better at is like in that time, probably just being done and moving
Mhm.
on. Where I get caught is where I'm like,
Like, wait, was
every
that what I thought? Or yeah.
yeah, like, or it probably was what I thought, but how do we rectify it? So how do we
Mhm.
move forward? Because that's also important to me too. Is like we're going to mess up. We're going to hurt each other's feelings. Like
Yeah.
ideally, it's accidentally and not on purpose. So like,
Mhm.
how do we move forward from that? And how do we like rebuild our trust when those instances do happen?
Mhm.
That is
Mhm.
like possibly more important than whatever transgression that actually happened. And so what I need to do is just get better at like either walking away in that time, like that first like bigger time,
Mhm.
or I don't know what the or is, but it's probably just walking away at the bigger time.
I don't, as someone who has walked away from a lot of situations at the first sign of
Yeah.
discomfort, I would say what I've learned in dating from conflict and things of that nature is to see it through. And I'm not saying that you should stay like, I think you do have to have some type of boundary with yourself. Like, okay, you're
Mhm.
not staying like 5 years and just keep
Right.
watching the same thing happen or just keep hoping for change. But what I will say, especially early stages in relationships and things of that nature, you have two totally different people coming together, right? So it's like, this is how I handle stuff. This is how you handle stuff. And then now we're trying to handle stuff together, right?
Mhm.
And I think you have to be, well, I'm just speaking for myself. I think I'm at this point, I am very clear on what I can handle, what I'm willing to work through, and what I'm not, you know?
Mhm.
And I think with me, because I did have such a short fuse or like a short, a small
Tolerance.
threshold for like
Yeah.
bullshit, you
Yeah.
know, I I've learned that, you're honestly letting a lot of okay guys just walk away because you don't have the skills to communicate with them.
Mhm.
And what I noticed, especially with some of the men that I'm more interested in, maybe a little bit more dominant or like alpha or things like that, I'm also fiery, right? So, what I learned in my communication style is fighting fire with fire is never going to work. Like, so if I'm having a misunderstanding or if I'm saying something, they're taking it away or whichever like that, like in their mind, they're going like head to head like they do in like business or with like a man. If I'm
Mhm.
coming with full fire, they're like, you're not gonna be like, you're not gonna out masculine me, like,
Yeah.
And what I notice is in those situations, if I just give it some time and just let it play out, and if I'm the one that has to like lower my guard a little bit first, then usually they end up coming around. So and like I said, it's a difference. Like obviously, I'm not gonna see it through with someone who's like yelling at me or
Right. Of
someone
course.
who's
Yeah.
calling me out of my name or someone who like I feel scared when you get upset. Like I
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
but if it's like if we're talking over text or if you say something, I'm like, "Ooh, that kind of stung." Like I wish he could have said that a little more gentler, like gently. Um, that's not going to be my first sign to just like pack it up and
Right.
walk away. Like
Right.
maybe right now emotions are a little bit higher. So, and I'm still working on this. Like
Hmm.
I'm, I'm still
Yeah.
working on this, but like maybe we could revisit it tomorrow or maybe when we're in person or something like that. But I would say that that's something I have learned. Like maybe we're just still learning each other's like communication styles and things like that. If we can learn to, okay, we're having a big of a conflict and we could bounce back, like we're learning how we can communicate with each other to get past things. That's different than, oh, that triggered me. I didn't feel good about that. I'm not gonna go through with Jimmy put me through, so next,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I had that attitude for so long. And I'm just like, I don't know if that has served me well. And I feel like now that I'm having a softer approach, and it's because I also feel very safe in my body. Like, I don't really expect anyone to make me feel safe.
Hmm.
Like obviously there's certain threats. Like I said, you're not gonna
Sure.
scream at me. You're not gonna, have aggressive body language. You're not gonna call me out of my name. Like those are very obvious things. I'm like, no.
Right.
But you can say something that I don't like and we could figure it out. Like I don't take that as a threat
Yeah.
anymore, or you can use a tone in the heat of the moment. And I don't take that as a threat, because
Hmm.
I'm safe in my body. Like I'm secure, I'm safe. And maybe this is just a learning situation for us.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not like, oh, throw the whole man away. Maybe this is like, okay, we're two people. This is kind of early on. Like, are we able to learn how to communicate with each other? Like, are we able to get past conflict? And when I have that approach, I believe I get to know men a little better.
Hmm.
Just and like I said, I'm like a lever, okay? Like I will leave, like,
Yeah.
but I would say like since I have, the past few years just done a lot of healing and like, just feeling safe in my body, my communication with men and like conflict resolution has been totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I certainly understand that, and I that resonates with me too because like more recently with this person I was talking to, it was like that. It was like, "Hey, like, can you tell me a little bit about this?" Or like, "What did you mean when you said this?" And then you talk
Yeah.
about it and like it feels really good and I'm like, "Okay, like we're
Mm-hmm.
good," And then it makes me feel like, "Okay, well we can like talk about other things or like other
Mm-hmm.
things that can come up." And so I similarly same approach like, "Hey, this is how I'm feeling or this is like what's coming up for me. What do you think?" Or like, "How are you feeling?" And
Mm-hmm.
so when that starts to change, when it's no longer safe to be able to ask those questions or the responses are different or the
Mm-hmm.
responses become more like pointed and like more condescending,
Yeah.
like that's the line.
Yeah.
And even then, like, okay, do we rectify it? How do we move forward from here in a way that makes sense for everybody? Or
Mm-hmm.
do we just call it quits then?
Yeah. And that's right. And it goes from like person to person and situation to situation. And I think that's the part where it's like you have to figure out because yeah, you don't want to spend too much time with someone who's, just make you feel like crap. But I also feel like my son has taught me a lot about men or,
Mm,
in a sense, because I remember like and I'm saying that to say that I noticed that men's communication style is much different than ours. Like we could sit on
mhm.
here for hours and talk about how we feel and how that made me feel,
Yeah.
how that made you feel, but they're just not like that. And I know that used to truly offend me. Like I'm trying to connect, I'm trying to talk, and it's like it's not well received. But I know, like with my son, like sometimes, he's coming from school and I'm just so excited to see him like, oh my God, like how was your day? Like tell me like what did you do? Who did I'm just want to know everything. He's like, Mom, I'm really not in the mood to talk right now. Like, can we talk later? And I'm just like, if a guy would say that to me, do you know like the heartbreak I would feel like, oh my
Yeah.
God, we're like this, but I don't know. I think it's just one of those things like if you're going to deal with men, like you have to understand certain things and you have to, and that's why I think it is important to have like community outside of them because they just aren't wired like us,
Yeah.
and like sometimes it's just like really not that fun to have some conversations with them. Like, although you want to, because you're like, wow, I want you to be my best friend. I want you to feel me and know everything. Like, I want to know everything of what's in your head, everything. But that doesn't make them a bad man because they can't communicate like that. Or maybe they can communicate like that for a while, but it's not their nature. So it's like, okay, it kind of goes back. And I also had a real life experience with this where I was just like, listen, I'm going to have to learn how to deal with masculine men because this not going to work. So I have met this guy and I really liked him. Like he was so attractive. Like I liked him a lot. And like we would and I was dating a guy previous and like the guy again he was very just like masculine like just go out in the world and just conquer and
He's
sometimes
fighting
that could
bears and
yeah, and sometimes that could feel a little lonely. Like at the end of the night, like you just want to talk, you want to, he's like, I just worked 12 hours. Like, I cannot have this conversation with you right now. Like, can we talk tomorrow? And I was just like, that wasn't good enough for me. So whatever, obviously things didn't work. The exact next guy I meet, I'm just like, oh yes, like I found someone better. Like, I mean, me and this guy were like BFS. Like it was as if I was like talking to you. Like I could talk to him about everything. Like we'll be on FaceTime for hours. Like just, like I could just talk freely to him.
Mhm.
But he was like, he was the type of like he was so weak on the inside.
Mhm.
And I hate to say that, but like that's not gonna work for me. Like he was the type like he would just crumble under pressure and like
Mhm.
couldn't like make decisions and couldn't that's not going to work for me. And that was like a real life lesson because I'm like, I would rather, me personally, and everyone's not like this, but personally, I would rather be with the man that's a little bit, I have to learn his communication style or like maybe my really heavy, heavy feelings I have to talk to, my homegirl with first before I bring it to him or whichever the case, I would rather do that with a man that makes me feel safe overall than a man I could kiki with on the phone all day.
Oh,
And that was,
interesting.
yeah, that was like a real life lesson because I'm just like, I would like, he could not make decisions. I mean,
That's
just
that in and of itself is annoying. Yes.
I was just like he was just so soft. And like from the looking at him, no, this guy was like 6'3" or 6'2" or something. Like he was tall, he was real built, like he was just fine. He was so fine. But just like any disruptance in his life, he just like shuts down. I'm
Mhm.
like, I can't have a man like that in my life. Like one of us has to be the backbone of this family, and it's not gonna be me, like
Yeah. That's so funny. I'm like opposite in that way. Well, not opposite entirely. I more would like, I think they should both be able to exist. I think
hmm
that I should be able to like lean on this person and like share my feelings and share my thoughts and whatever as they can too, especially if that's like the initial way that we've begun, where you can like have that masculine partner and then you can have the safety and the space to be able to like share is how I feel like for myself
hmm
and what kind of like partner I'd be looking for.
and feel most comfortable with. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
I think that is totally doable as well. Like I believe that there are men out there like that, especially if they start off like that. Like I
Right.
think that's the most like gut-wrenching part when someone's like creates something that they can't keep up. And that goes
Yeah.
back to the part of what you were saying where it's like you kind of have to give it time to actually see like, okay, is this honeymoon stuff or is this like your real character?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. And I think, you know, it's not until you have these interactions where you can really say, okay, this works for me and this doesn't work for me, you know?
Yeah.
Because like even example I had, like I thought that guy, the more masculine one, like I thought he was public enemy number one. You know, like I just was like, he is a terrible guy. You know, he's
Yeah.
so terrible. But then I experienced what I thought would be, more suitable for me. And I'm just like, that's not gonna work. I'd rather be with a guy like number one and just figure out how to be with him versus a guy like number two. Like that's not gonna work. And like, because even personally, I a very strong person. Like I don't let many things like shake me or get me off course. So it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
You don't think that there's some amount of sacrifice between like both of them?
mhm.
So like if you with the guy who worked 12 hours, you think you don't see it as like a sacrifice to be like, well, if I can't talk to him, like I'll just like I got to find somebody else to talk to you or you know what I mean? Like if he doesn't
Yeah. I don't personally, I don't
Mhm.
find that a sacrifice. And I'm not saying that I can't come to him with things. I'm not saying that because that wasn't what the situation was.
Mm.
Um, and like I said, we did kind of have an on and off situation. So as time went on, I did learn him. So it wasn't that I couldn't come to him with things. It was just that my timing had to be right. So I noticed that when it was like something burning, like right now I need to talk, like da da da, it's like talking to a wall.
Mm.
But I noticed if, okay, this is something that's important to me and we got face to face and he liked to like cook and grill and stuff and he's cooking and we would have a great conversation. Everything would get solved in that conversation and we were good to move on. So it wasn't that he was being a monster, he's being mean. It was just timing in our conversations meant a lot because I was not going to get what I wanted after a 12-hour shift. Like I
Sure,
wasn't,
that makes sense. Yeah, that's fair.
and but at that time I thought he was just evil. Like I thought he was not meeting my needs and da da da. But then it's like, no, like we're learning each other and that's a sacrifice that I was willing to make. Like, okay, I have to wait to a good time. I know when he's cooking, we have great conversations.
More like of a boundary than a rule.
Yeah. And I think that was, and it's like, it's okay. But maybe if I come to him with my very raw and fiery emotions, that would be a lot for him to take in. But again, like I said, I'm okay with going to my sister, going to a friend and
Yeah.
kind of getting those like really emotions with someone who's going to feel me like, oh, and it's like, okay, once I sorted through it, then maybe I could come to him personally. That wasn't a sacrifice. Like that didn't
Yeah.
feel bad to me. It felt bad when I tried to force him to talk to me and he couldn't talk, he wouldn't talk to me and where I'm talking to a wall, like that felt bad. But talking to him when he was more open to, that didn't feel bad. It felt
Mhm.
great, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad that you know what works for you.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there other instances where you feel like there's like a bigger lesson that you needed to learn about what you're not going to do?
I think the biggest, and like this is the era I'm in now, and I'm like, wow, because this is something a lot of us have heard all our life, but I'm not sleeping with no man until I'm married,
Mm.
celibates. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, I've heard that forever, my whole life, and I thought it was ridiculous, da da da. No. And I would say the past couple of years, since I haven't been emotionally involved with any man, haven't been sleeping with men and things like that, my life has been great.
Yeah.
So do with that what you will. Like my
Yeah.
life has been so good since I stopped sleeping with men. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's some truth to that. So
Yeah.
that's the point. I'm not doing that anymore. Like I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah. I'm on a similar path. Not that I need to be like married first. I need to know that we are like committed in our
Hmm.
relationship. Like we're not just going somewhere, but like we're going the distance.
Yeah.
And that's what I need to also feel like I can like truly like open up in a sexual way to be able to
Yeah.
like express myself in that way.
Hmm.
Because I think that even just going back to the just like past relationships or dating experiences, you get caught up in like those first couple months and we haven't allowed time to like reveal who they truly are or to
Yeah.
like actually go through anything. And you've already like given yourself up sexually and then things crumble and then it really hurts, you know? And so like I know that for myself that when I've done that in the past, it hurts worse. So it
Yeah.
doesn't remove hurt from happening because, you know, there's still feelings involved in whatever, even if you're not
Hmm.
like having sex.
Right.
But it's still like, okay, well, at least I get to walk away from this situation for me having like my dignity intact and not having crossed a boundary for myself to where I have to like seemingly give up who I am
Hmm.
sexually to someone for them to stay. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
them around in the first place
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
that's what it's going to take. So I'm just at a point where I don't know if I want to call it celibacy necessarily. Maybe it is because I haven't, and it's been like well over a year. Your girl's hurting a bit. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't easy. At the same time, like, I think about when you find your person and when I find my person, and like, just all the stars align and you're really just like in this beautiful relationship with someone, it makes the sexual intimacy that much better
Hmm.
and exciting and more connective and more maybe expressive than it
Yeah.
would be in the first couple months of dating someone.
Hmm. No, yeah, I agree. I feel at this point in my life, like I definitely value sex more. You know, like like it's a lot more sacred to me than it has
Mhm.
been previously. You
Yeah.
know, and I will say that since I've been on this journey or whichever. Like I'm not very loud about it. Like I don't meet a guy and be like, oh, we're not until we,
Yeah.
are you gonna marry me then? I'm not very loud about it, but it's just not a conversation because we're not there yet, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I will say that I have met guys like on this journey that are also like they also respect themselves in
Mhm.
that way. Like I'm not meeting so many lustful men or
Mm.
men who are just only like okay, like just pursuing me very hard for that. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of meeting like more intentional men. And it's
Yeah.
very weird. And like I say, I'm not loud about it. I don't talk
Yeah.
about it at all. Like probably no man knows that I'm celibate, because I
Mhm.
don't, it's none of your business. We're not there yet to talk about sex.
Yeah.
So it's not even a conversation. But I will say I have been meeting men who that's also not a conversation for them either. I feel like they're
Yeah.
a lot more careful with me, actually trying to get to know me, actually trying to, do something real besides words, like just like
Yeah.
show me things and things like that. So it's been good. It's been good. I just feel like at this point, like we're all friends. Like I don't know, I'm not eager for anything, but
Mhm.
I definitely do not want to be emotionally, sexually connected to someone I'm not gonna be with. Like I don't think
Yeah.
I could take another L like that. Like I'm just
Yeah.
not there, you know?
Yeah. So where are you finding these men? Are you on any dating apps or like what are your thoughts about dating apps? Where do you meet the people?
Yeah, I'm not on any dating apps. and I do not suggest dating apps.
Yeah.
But just very naturally, like I said, I don't have like a roster or anything.
Hmm.
Like so, and I'm saying men just because I don't want to be talking about like one man, but it really
Yeah.
is just like one man. I'm talking about.
It's okay.
Yeah. But I just like out in the wild, since I don't, and again, like men don't just come up to me talking and things like that, but um I don't have a roster. So I'm talking about just one guy. But yeah, I haven't been like I'm not intentionally dating. So I'm not on dating apps or anything. Like I'm not going out to like bars or social
Hmm.
things like looking for men or anything. I'm not intentionally dating. So just like the friends I have or the conversation I have, like it has been very respectful and intentional. And I would like I did meet this one guy in the wild
Yeah.
and like he came off very respectful. Like he's just like, "Oh, I just think you're stunning. Like, can I have your number?" Like we would see each other like like in passing, then we would start
In
saying, "Oh,
passing, where? Like, where y'all
at
going at
work,
the same time? Oh,
at
at
work."
work. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
So, and then it would start, "Oh, hey, good morning. Woo, woo, woo." So then when he's like, I just, can we exchange numbers? Like he was so respectful. So I was just like, sure, like fine. Girl, we're talking. I'm going to stay 24 hours just to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think it was a full 24 hours. This man asking me, "Are you freaky?" Like,
yeah.
I'm just like, really? I thought you
You're
were
like, we
different.
just got here.
Yeah, but okay, but that's not the whole story. So I will say, okay, so I didn't engage because I'm like, boy, please, right? I didn't
Yeah.
engage, but we worked together, so I wasn't gonna make it awkward. But it's like you can't talk to me like that. So I didn't engage. But when
Yeah.
we see each other, I'll say, hey, da da da. When I tell you, when he's seen like this, not that, his whole approach changed. This man
Yep.
is such a gentleman. I mean, he'll just be like, "Hey, because I always get coffee at the like Starbucks in the morning. So he'll just text me. He's like, "Hey, I ordered you a coffee. It's waiting for you up there. Just give them your name." Or he'll be like, "Did you eat? Like, oh, what
Oh,
would you? I'm
cute.
going here for lunch. What would you like?" Like he's just so respectful now, you
Yeah.
know? So I also think it's like again, it goes back to what I was saying. Like you don't have to just throw people away. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people like again, maybe he's used to going about things like that and it's worked for him. That's why he's done it. But it's like that's not gonna work for me.
Right.
I don't think you're a terrible person. That's not gonna work for me. But now it's like I'm seeing a different person, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, we can actually get to know each other because wouldn't you like to know? Like whether I'm
Yeah.
freaky or not, like that has nothing. Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
So yeah. But I'm not actively dating, so I'm not on dating apps, but I'm mostly meet men in the wild or just like some spin the block situations or something like that. But
Spin the block. Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on it, like figuring out the best way to meet people in person because I really don't want to get back on the dating apps. And I really just like, I would prefer to meet someone out and about because at least like
Mhm.
maybe we have something in common if
Right.
we I don't know, meet at the gym or if we met like at this library or something
Mhm,
or,
mhm.
situations like that. And so that is certainly more of interest to me. And I say that to say also, but like my DMs are open. So I'm not like against that.
Yeah, of
I just
course.
won't be on a dating app.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very difficult because especially like I think you have to frequent the same places for that to
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah.
For you to because if you see someone at the grocery store one time, like the chances of them coming up to you is low. And then if
Hmm.
they are, they're usually very like not serious people. But if you see this person like, wow, every Sunday at 3 p.m., like I see them at the grocery store, then it's like, oh, hey, wow, you again,
Yeah.
it's So it's just difficult. I don't know. It is difficult. Like to actively date, it does seem like dating apps are your best chance because you can meet so many people, but those people are crazy as
It's
hell
a
on those
hellscape.
apps.
It can really
Oh,
be a hellscape. Like there are some good people on there, I'm sure. It just like even thinking
it's
about it
getting
is
to them.
daunting and exhausting.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I really don't want to. So, and I don't, it's also hard because I'm here in Idaho. You know what I mean? Like, there aren't really a lot of people that look like me and that, like, might maybe would even understand me and stuff like that. So, it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
it
It's
is what it
difficult.
is. But,
And I think that's why I slowed down on dating being in Austin because I'm like, I, I don't really like mesh well with many people here. You know, it's
mm,
like so different. I just simply do not meet a lot of people who are like me or
mm-hmm,
like who I would like find that type of interest in. And here, they do not say nothing to me. Like it. I mean, they like look and look the other way. You know, like
yeah,
so. It's
yeah,
like it's yeah. It's not. But I'm like, hey, maybe this is. I don't have any complaints because, like I said, like since I slowed down on dating, like I've been having a really good time. Like I've been just focused on my own things. And I feel like other things are really aligning for me since
mm-hmm,
my energy is not on that, you know?
yeah,
And I really believe that there ain't nothing that could keep the person that God has for me away. And that's the only
mm-hmm,
person I want. Like,
yeah,
I don't need 15 guys texting me all day, you know, like
right,
that. I don't need that. I just need one guy, you know?
mm-hmm,
So I think that's the other thing. Like, I'm just really in a state of surrender when it comes to dating. Like, it is what it is. I know I can't go about it how I used to. Yeah, that's just too much. Like I remember last year, like I was on the dating apps and I met this guy and he seemed very promising, very intentional, all these other things. Girl, like just the weirdest. I still don't have a clear understanding of what happened, but just the same thing that's always on the dating apps, like super unserious, always either married or in a relationship, always
yeah,
fast. They want to do everything so fast. And I'm just like, I don't have the energy for that
yeah,
anymore. Like
yeah.
yeah, I'm not doing that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm glad that we similarly have like that same vision of like that one person. I mean,
Hmm.
I think for me, I do believe like there are multiple people in this whole world that we could, you know what I mean, like have a life with. But one
Right?
of those one people or one of
Yeah.
those we got a handful, like are there a couple hundred? Like I don't know however many there are, but one of them will cross our paths here soon and we can like go off and like live, you know, whatever fairy tale that we have
Yeah.
and what's like meant for us and
Yeah.
in a complete state of alignment. And that's what I'm really like excited about and looking forward
Mhm.
to because I am like a hopeless romantic in a sense. And then I also like juggle with maybe I do too many things to even entertain anyone because I'm so busy. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, but where is he? You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my own fault. But yeah, I'm glad that we've had like our revelations and we're both at this state of just dating or when we date, it's more from a place of like peace and harmony and like a
Mhm.
better knowing of what we want and what we don't want in our lives.
No, I agree. And I think the other thing that gives me a lot of peace is things happen really fast when you're in alignment.
Mhm.
So, you know, yeah, maybe you're not out actively dating and maybe you're not on the apps, but even this, like getting on the internet, putting yourself out there, putting your voice out, you never know who
Yeah.
this could cross and who. I'm a strong believer, like when you're living in your purpose, when you are in alignment, things happen miraculously and they happen fast.
Yeah.
So I'd rather stay on my path and attract what's supposed to come in my life instead of going and searching and grinding and looking. And then, okay, there's a man. Okay, there's a man here. And now I'm trying to like fix and mold him, like, understand me,
Yeah.
get me. No, I said, like, listen, I just want someone who understands me and I
Mm-hmm.
understand you. And yeah, we're going to have our hiccups, but
Sure.
we just love each other so much that nothing is that big of a deal. Like, all right, I'm sorry. No, let's just move forward. My bad, you know?
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
things they happen fast when you're in alignment. So that's my hope for you, that you could meet a very nice man on this
Mm-hmm.
episode. He'll find this episode, okay? Let him find this
Just let it
episode and
manifest.
DM you.
Yeah.
And we just get this thing started. We listen.
Yes. I know. Enough waiting. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yes.
get on the right path.
And that'll be the only argument. Like, what took you so long? That's the only argument that you
Literally.
guys have.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming onto the podcast again.
Of course, my pleasure. It's just, I love this girl talk. I love this catching up.
I do too. I do too. Thank you.